Does this odd little stretch of music strike a memory chord with you there, Mr. Mike?
Vaguely.
A little bit.
Vaguely. Give me a hint.
Okay. One of the weirdest shows in TV history, early 90s.
Twin Peaks?
Bingo. Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah, I remember it vaguely,
that is Audrey's Dance. The composer is Angelo Badalamenti, and Sherilyn Fenn played Audrey. And I mean, did you plug into that thing? In 1990, I did too.
Well, I remember that obscure theme song.
Oh, I was fascinated by it, and like so many things that the great David Lynch did, and he passed away yesterday, along with Bob Uecker, a very weird 1-2 punch of losses in the world. But David Lynch, like a lot of visionary geniuses, had the ability to elicit two reactions at the same time. One, people watching a movie of his or a film of his and saying, wow, that's genius. Or other people watching the same thing and saying, in essence, pardon me, what the hell is that?
I know. That's weird.
I love Twin Peaks. I told my dad to try to watch it. And that was his quote. He called back and said, one last thing, Mark, just need to know about that Twin Peaks thing. Yeah. What the hell was that? And
that was some weird stuff.
Blue Velvet, speaking of Kyle MacLachlan, and very young Laura Dern and Isabella Rossellini. And I love that too. But then you get, I got kind of David Lynch obsessed with the creativity. And I went back to a thing that was like one of his first feature-length works, an avant-garde experimental thing in 1977 called Eraserhead. Unwatchable. It's like, what? What? And then, of course, 1984, he rolls out Dune. God, did he love Kyle MacLachlan or what? And I don't get it then, and I don't get it now. But I do recognize genius, and so rest in peace, David Lynch and Bob Uecker. You couldn't not love. He's the Rodney Dangerfield of baseball, the self-deprecation over an underwhelming playing career, but what a career as a humorist and broadcaster for the Brewers. So there we go. A couple of passings as we enter into a weekend where I, for one, am feeling very much alive and ready to hear your trip to the inauguration on Monday.
Well, let's just stop and let this ruminate a little bit. Think about this. We're off to Washington, D.C. after the show to cover the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. Yep. Mark, I want to ask you a personal question. In the middle of 2024, when Trump was being convicted of 34 felonies, think about that for just let that sink in. Yep. 30. If you or I had one felony to our name,
we're done.
We're done. It ruins our life. How about 34?
Yep.
How about 34? Which, of course, the absurdity of that, taking an expired, misdemeanor that expired due to the statute of limitations over a bookkeeping mistake and turning it into 34 felony convictions.
And maybe not even a mistake. It was a drop-down menu where he called it a legal cost. It was a legal cost. Go ahead.
So to take that and turn it into 34 felony convictions, was the absurdity of that is a big reason, a big part of why he won. Of course, the assassination attempt is a big part of why he won. All of this came together, and this is a God thing. You can't ever convince most of us that God didn't have his hand in this, Mark. It's been said that Trump believes that the assassination attempt was it was God's will, of course, that bullet didn't hit him in the head, that it would grazed him. If he hadn't turned his head in that split second, how do you not think of that as divine intervention? Even his haters can't go around saying, oh, well, this is just the luckiest son of a gun who ever lived. No, this isn't luck. This is fate. This is spiritual. And I am so proud to be bundled up and headed to the tundra conditions. Oh my gosh, this is going to be one of the coldest inaugurations on record. One of the presidents who went to the inauguration was this cold. He died.
William Henry Harrison got pneumonia, and it wasn't even that cold. It was like raining and like 38 or some such. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be cold. It's going to be in the teens when people are filing in. Now, look, I have to sacrifice. I got to be in a warm, toasty studio anchoring. Yep. Joey Hudson will be among the crowd. He's going to be. What's that?
You know what inquiring minds want to know?
What?
Where are you staying?
Well, I'm not staying where I usually stay because that hotel room. The hotel room where I usually stay.
That's why. By the way, I don't need hotel
name.
Did you
know
or
that?
room
I'll
number.
tell you.
But
I'll tell you the story.
Have you priced it out and found?
I have. There's a hotel that I've always stayed at when I go to D.C., and I always like it. It's an older hotel, but it's very luxurious, very comfortable. It's the Ritz-Carlton in Pentagon City.
There you go.
And it's right across the
river, really.
right over the bridge.
Sure.
And it's easy to get to. In fact, do you know why it's kind of famous? Do you know why it's notorious for a reason?
What happened there?
Yeah, Monica Lewinsky was confronted by FBI agents in that hotel, and that's where she had like Linda Tripp. Remember how Linda Tripp turned her in and everything? Well, that all happened at that hotel. Anyway, I like that hotel. It's comfortable, and it's fair, and it's not a cheap room. I mean, but thankfully I can put it on the Salem expense account. It's usually about $700 or $800 a night.
Yeah, what is it now?
$4,000 a night. $4,000 a night for a hotel.
Is it time for my 30 cents? There's no such thing as gouging. That's the marketplace.
Really?
No,
really?
No, that's the marketplace.
That's gouging.
I mean, gouging is like criminalized to some. Is there such a thing as?
Well, that should be criminal.
No. Oh, stop it! We're the conservatives. We're the libertarians. They have every right to charge that, and if somebody doesn't want it, they don't pay it.
I'll bet they're sold out. So anyway,
so that proves my point exactly.
We're staying a little farther away, but not too far.
Baltimore.
And we're going to get to go to the balls. We're going to go to a couple of inaugural balls Sunday night. It's going to be Phil Boyce and Joey and Peg Hudson and I, and we're going to go off to the South Carolina Palmetto
black
Ball.
tie and boots. Got to hang with the Texans.
I got the boots. I don't have the boots, but I got the tux and I got the tie and the cumber. I got a big boy tie too. I've got an actual tux tie that you got to tie. It's not a clip-on. Do you know how to tie one of those?
I do. I haven't done it in 20 years, but I do.
I don't know how to tie it. I have no idea how to tie it. So Joey Hudson is going to have to treat me like a toddler and tie it for me.
Come on.
But how about the ball, big ball, the Turning Point USA ball we're going to get to go to, thanks to Phil Boyce's connections. Excellent. The actual village people are performing.
Man, oh man.
They're performing, and Don Jr. and President Trump. I don't know if he's going to show up or not. I'll bet he may.
I mean, custom is that the president and the first lady, the freshly installed president and first lady, usually make the rounds.
Yes.
I mean, the last one I actually went to was black tie and boots, the Texas ball for the first Bush inauguration. But would Trump come to the Texas one? I would think. Would Trump come to various other ones? I would. Yeah. So I think it's
a cool tradition. It's going to be Sunday night. Washington will be packed, and there'll be lots of excitement and drama. His official inauguration portrait has been released, and it bears a striking resemblance to his mugshot.
It sure
which
does.
I love.
He's got that glowering determination that we know.
With the lighting is from below.
It's crazy.
It's like, hey, look, I love the phrase, Dad's coming home and Dad's pissed. Dad is not happy with you. He is not happy. And speaking of interesting things about the inauguration, you know Jason Whitlock, right? From his many appearances with Tucker and
the Fearless podcast.
Fearless podcast. He does a rant about Michelle Obama refusing to go to Trump's inauguration. Now, here's what he said. It's fascinating. I'm going to play it on the show today. He said, and the post that he put up on X was, Michelle Obama is setting the example for black women by missing Jimmy Carter's funeral and making a fool out of Barack. She's telling black women that they don't have to pay any respects or follow any protocols. He mocked a conversation. He did a mocking conversation between Barack and Michelle, and it went something like this. Honey, I got to put on a suit and tie. We've got to pay respects to Jimmy Carter. Honey, we got to go to D.C. It's the inauguration of the 47th president. And Michelle says, I ain't going. I'm staying home. Honey, don't embarrass me like this. And Jason Whitlock has a whole rant. Now, he's a black man.
I was going to say, which gives him a little bit of Teflon to be able to do this. Go ahead.
I guess he has the latitude to do this. And he says, look,
I ain't doing it.
In the black community, this is a black, and he talks about a wife has a biblical duty. God, a husband is accountable to God. A wife is accountable to her husband and God, and it's basically almost a scriptural reference he makes where he says, look, she's making a fool out of Barack Obama. There's a lot of rumors swirling that their marriage is
trouble
on the
in paradise.
Yeah. I mean, what do you make of it?
That's the second hottest active rumor about Michelle. and you know what the number one is with a bullet. I don't know.
Don't use the word bullet for that. Don't,
that's a good point. So I don't know. I think it's rude. It's funny. Yesterday,
disrespectful.
I went on a small rant about this because, speaking of snubs, Jill did invite Melania to a little incoming, outgoing First Lady tea, and Melania said no thanks. So I kind of got to the point where I said, if there are people who can't stand each other, or if somebody can't, it's usually them not being able to stand us. Do you want to be around? I wasn't going to lose sleep over it, but my favorite world does remain where people suck it up, show some manners, follow some decorum and etiquette. That remains my favorite thing. And
I agree, and I am a little disappointed that Melania would have turned that down. But look, there's a lot of bad blood there. In fact, there's a big headline that Trump's invitation to all these tech guys is a big middle finger to Biden. Biden's on TV ranting about the tech oligarchs, and look, Mark, they're all coming Monday. You got Zuckerberg, even the guy the owner, the guy representing TikTok is going. Now there's supposed to be a ban Sunday.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. The Biden administration.
2 seconds on the TikTok ban, but before we get real quick, before we leave the notion of who's not coming to where, when Michelle didn't announce that she was not coming to the inauguration, I don't know how many calls you got or how many texts you got. Hey, Trump didn't go to Biden's. And I kind of attach this to Melania and Jill. This is not just political. The reason Michelle ain't going is she hates Trump's guts. Anything that the Trumps might feel about the Bidens, they tried to have him destroyed politically, criminally, economically. This is way different, and I got a lot more latitude for how the Trumps might want to feel about Biden world than just Michelle going off in a huff because she doesn't like who won the election.
From Melania's perspective, they actually rifled through her underwear drawer. Now that's very. I don't know. You get much more personal than that with a woman.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
maybe I don't need to sip chamomile tea with that.
Yeah, but let me use the Mark Davis consistency test. Yeah. So if we're going to get all bent out of shape over Democrats who aren't paying proper respects and following protocols to Republicans, then when Melania does it, we ought to be consistent. I don't think that. I don't think.
But I think I just said that this is singularly different, and in the future, if God forbid, an evil Republican regime punishes an undeserving Democrat in that way, will I be okay with them getting a little frosty? I think I will.
Yeah, but again, a devil's advocate here, Michelle Obama thinks that Donald Trump is a fascistic dictator who's going to end democracy.
She's full of it. What she thinks in her fetid little bubble is different than the real world savagery that Biden world showed to the Trumps. I know your point.
I know you're right, but you're not being consistent, and that's okay. That's all right.
It's because there are two very different things. It's because of the two. All right, 60 seconds, TikTok. Dude, you're on TikTok. I have an account, but I don't use it. I know there's value in it. TikTok helped Trump won. Let's pause on that for a minute. And I know the Chinese are monitoring everything we do, but aren't they anyway? I don't know. My line yesterday was with everybody on porn sites and blood-sucking gambling sites. TikTok is not my biggest online word.
Well, you aren't on porn sites in Texas anymore. If you're, that whole thing is another big, porn sites are leaving.
The gambling sites can't do those.
19 states are now using age verification systems, and so a lot of the porn sites, I guess, are. You better believe you want a 12-year-old kid getting access to porn, but the free speech advocates are saying that's a free speech.
They're completely wrong. You and I are Mr. Free Speech. We're the free speech twins, but it does not impinge on free speech.
I agree with you.
You got to be an adult.
Here's my prediction.
Give me 60 seconds.
I'll give you 15 seconds. I'll give you 10 seconds. Right. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. First of all, the Biden administration will not enforce the ban.
Trump doesn't want it.
They're gonna punt it over to the Trump administration, and Trump doesn't want it to happen. Guess what? If Trump doesn't want it to happen, it's not going to happen. Exactly they're going to figure out a way. First of all, when you look at X or any of these social media, 90% of it is video that's been generated through TikTok. It's enormously popular. You can't just flip a switch. No. Look, if you're worried about China having access, Cal's out of that barn. You know, you cannot. So, hey, to Paul and Garland, who said, love you guys, listen every day, please send pics of the galas and the balls, and get up, Mike, and do a duet with the Village People. It'll win the night. But I will post pictures. I'm not going to get near the, I don't think I'm near to the stage. But follow me on X, @Gallagher Show, MikeOnline.com, and I'll be sure to post videos. And I'll see you Monday. I'll talk to you
today and with you.
Thank
in
you.
Spirit, and I can't
Love you. Talk to you Monday from
show,
DC.
Monday show from Washington.
See you then.
Have a great
You got
weekend,
it.
Mike. That's